alphabetical order. All right. We appreciate all your support. I would like to ask the attendees to mute their microphones, if possible, because sometimes we are getting background noises. All right. Good. Let me introduce myself first, and then I will ask each of our panelist speakers to introduce themselves. My name is Fevzi Okumus. I'm a professor at the University of South Carolina's College of Hospitality, Retail, and Sports Management. It's one of the best universities if you want to study hospitality, tourism, retail, and sport management from undergraduate to PhD levels. I'm the editor of 3 wonderful academic journals, the International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management. We receive around 1,800, even more submissions annually. Acceptance rate is about 10%, 12%. Impact factor is 9. Site score is over 21. It's a flagship journal, top-tier journal in our field. About 8 years ago, we started the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Insights. We often called it baby journals, but not anymore. It receives around 1,200 submissions, and site score is about 11.1. Impact factor is 4.8. It's not an SSCI, it's an emerging citation index, and I am really proud to be the founding editor and current editor of this journal. We have a great team as well. And beginning of 2025, we started Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Horizons because we were receiving so many submissions to both IJCHM and JHTI. The baby journal Horizon last year received around 150 submissions. I think this year we'll reach 250. It's doing really well. It's a baby journal, and I'm very proud of it. And if you have any papers you have been rejected by other journals, please submit. But I tell you also it has about almost 60% rejection rate as well. I stop here, and then we ask Professor Buhalis to introduce himself briefly, and then we move to Carlos and then Cihan.
I'm Dimitrios Buhalis. I'm in Bournemouth University. I've been working in tourism for more than 40 years. Also editing Tourism Review. Tourism Review is the most established journal in tourism. It is on 82 years, so volume 82. And we are receiving this year, we're probably going to receive about 2,000 papers, and we are going to publish 120. And that's about it.
Good. Carlos?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for this kind invitation, Fevzi. So I'm Carlos Flavián. I'm professor of marketing at the University of Zaragoza in Spain. I'm researching on topics related with AI, researching with topics related with immersive technology. That means virtual reality and augmented reality. Also, I'm here today because I'm the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Consumer Studies. The International Journal of Consumer Studies is a journal from Wiley, in this case. We are publishing the volume 50. The site score is close to 20. The journal impact factor is 7.6. We are publishing 125 papers a year, and we are receiving 3,000 submissions each year. This journal is focusing the attention in anything related with consumer behavior. So tourists as a consumer is definitely included in the target of the journal. If you are having an interesting paper which makes a theoretical and empirical contribution and also a managerial implications, please consider this journal, because definitely you can submit anything related with consumer behavior. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
My name is Cihan Cobanoglu. I am the provost of Versant University. I previously worked at 15 years at University of South Florida and also 10 years at University of Delaware. I am the editor-in-chief of Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Technology, published by Emerald. I'm the founding editor. Currently, JHTT receives about 1,200 articles. It has impact factor. It's SSCI and Scopus Index Journal. In both indexes, it's designated as Q1 journal, and it has 6.9 impact factor and 13.9 Scopus site score. We accept articles, of course. It was founded in 2010. Right now, it is one of the leading journals in hospitality and tourism technology. I also serve as the president of Association of Global Educators, which is a network of professors, more than 15,000 educators from all around the world. The main idea is to connect them so that we can create a great network. Thank you.
Professor Fevzi, you are in mute, please.
Yeah, we cannot hear you.
Okay.
I thought it was me, but you are muted.
Congratulations to all editors and special congratulations to Professor Carlos Flavian on being the editor of his journal. I'm sure he will take the journal to the next level. And before we move forward, research design, I want to ask, what keeps you awake at night, apart from submissions as an editor? What are the current trends in publishing? Carlos, we start with you this time, if it is okay. You are muted, I think. Yes.
Sorry about that. I was asking if you can elaborate the question. What do you mean exactly?
Yeah, as an editor, as a researcher, what are the current trends and why are you worried? Why are you optimistic? Give us an overall picture of the consumer behavior field or hospitality and tourism or marketing, just an overview of the field, the research world. Okay.
Well, definitely everything is changing as a result of artificial intelligence, and also coming here to find answers, not to find questions. Well, definitely in Wiley, we also have information saying if the authors has been applying artificial intelligence, and I have to say that most part of the people has been applying artificial intelligence, so this is not a new. So I having 80% of the manuscript with this information and asking to Wiley, please, to be more specific, to be more concise. Definitely, I think it's time to join the team of people who is using artificial intelligence, but something particularly important that the authors need to know is that artificial intelligence is never an author. They have to be responsible of everything which is behind the paper. So you can use AI, you can use ethically AI, but be careful with the things that you do. Review everything that AI is suggesting. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you. Cihan, without referring to AI much, as an editor, as an author, as an administrator, how do you see the field, like research field, and what keeps you awake? Why are you positive? Why are you concerned? Okay, we will come back to AI in a second in research design as well. Okay.
Right. So obviously, probably it's the same for all editors, is the increasing amount of submissions and finding reviewers. All authors want fast review, but when you email them to review the papers, usually it takes too long for them to respond, or at all not respond in some cases. When they say yes, it just so that's probably one of the biggest challenges. Currently, that is what is happening on. Everybody is asking for speed, but the contribution is not there. Probably that's number one for me, without, of course, including AI, which I will do later.
Okay. Professor Buhalis?
I think the good thing is that there's a lot of research now in tourism hospitality. That's a good thing. The second good thing is that it's becoming much more multidisciplinary. So we are now attracting tourism review papers from people who are not necessarily researching tourism hospitality, but they may be doing technology, they may be looking into management, marketing, and different areas. And therefore, you have a lot of new ideas that are coming through multidisciplinarity. The thing that keeps me awake and the thing that's really annoying is that a lot of people are focusing on numbers. They are focusing on quantity rather than quality. So what happens is that a lot of people will actually, instead of doing one good paper and look after it and submit a good paper, they're submitting 3 bad papers, and they get 3 bad rejections rather than one kind of one acceptance. And I think if the message that we need to send to research, and especially young people who are starting early career researchers who are starting now, is quantity is not going to take you far. The other thing that a lot of people are asking me is, what paper would you like me to write for you? It's like you're going to a restaurant and the chef comes to you and says, I'll cook anything you like. But actually, the successful restaurants are those that the chef has actually looked into their ingredients, they look into their culture, they look into their to their clientele, and they've designed something that's very desirable. So it's really important that people understand where can they make a significant contribution and actually be true to themselves and to their field and support that on a long term. I think that's the opening statement.
Good. Thank you very much. From my side, research is getting stronger in our field. Our journals are stronger. Our researchers are stronger. Our PhD students are trained much better in research methods, and they are better trained. And then, as Professor Buhalis mentioned, we receive papers from other disciplines or from authors from other disciplines, and we see more and more multi-interdisciplinary research teams submitting articles to our field. My concern also, us third generation, second generation, let's say our generation, we need to train ourselves more and more about recent and new research methods and technologies. Our PhD students are much better than us. And then another thing keeps me awake at night, so many submissions to journals, and most of them are really not high quality. And also many researchers do not have a clear focus. They just want to publish articles, but they don't have a specific expertise. That's also a concern. One concern I will say, maybe all of us are handling one way or another, handling ethical issues with submissions, especially if an article is published, and then if a reader or someone else finds an issue with its methodology, with results, that's a headache for editors to investigate it, and then sometimes it ends up in retraction, which is a really, really bad mark on researchers' brand images and careers, right? So these are the things, positive things, and then some concerns. Let's, Professor Cobanoglu, let's start with you. Give us 2 good advice about research design, but don't refer to AI. We will come to that in a second. Like if you were to design a research 2-3 advice for our PhD students and faculty members.
Great question. In terms of JHTT, I have I can just tell you for JHTT what I really would love to see in terms of the researchers. Number one is experimental research. Right now, my journal, obviously, you said that do not refer to AI, but it's a technology journal. For that reason, a big chunk of the articles that we publish, relate to technology and AI, of course. I see a lot of studies that being submitted about AR, VR, some of the different technology tools, but it doesn't have an experimental study to it. So it's more conceptual, which is valuable, but not the best. The other thing that I think that people are racing towards the publication, the volume. So my biggest advice to anybody who's doing research, start with the question, not the tool. Right now, of course, all these developments in AI allows us to be able to do things that we couldn't do otherwise. And there are lots of great uses of it, but people are, I often get from my students, Professor, I would like to do my study thesis, this or whatever, using SEM or using conjoint analysis. That is wrong, kind of like similar to what Professor Buhalis' analogy, going to a restaurant and the chef is asking you, what can I cook for you? So those are the top two ones that comes. And of course, transparency is another big advice in the era of all this blurring, what is real and what's not real. So whatever that the researchers are doing, they need to be disclose that from the beginning so that everybody knows what's included in that particular research.
Thank you. Professor Buhalis?
I think the previous speakers have covered everything, and I think realistically, people need to think from early on what is their contribution to society. Most of us were paid by the taxpayer, by the public sector, and I'm always asking my students, would the taxpayer buy your research? We are not here to actually fund our hobby research areas. We're here to make a contribution to society. And I think the starting point is, what is your contribution to society? How is society going to be better? And how is your research going to contribute to that? And of course, when you see all these wars happening around the world, and when you see all this bad practice that's happening, you kind of question yourself, what can I do? But actually, this is exactly what you can do. You can identify what is your positive contribution to society. How can your local communities benefit? How can we engage with different stakeholders in a multidisciplinary kind of way to create solutions? And I think that is what can emphasize the contribution of the researcher on the longer term. Methodologically, sometimes that's a qualitative research or sometimes quantitative research. The papers I quickly desk reject on tourism review are those who are coming and they say, I've got a method and I need to get data in very quickly and data out very quickly, and I can prove nothing. And of course, there's no contribution and there's no contribution to society. And these are the papers that they can get desk rejected very quickly.
Thank you. Thank you. Professor Flavian?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. So they have been addressing very, very interesting topics. So, however, in order to add something else, I just would like to say that something which is very interesting for us is try to combine different kind of methodologies in order to give an answer to the same question. So try to triangulate the information given. Until what extent, what do you say, what the data say in one kind of analysis can be confirmed in other contexts or in other analysis. So the triangulation of methodology, the application of mixed methods, combining different kind of research, for example, qualitative and quantitative, or even quantitative and qualitative, it's particularly interesting in order to get a correct answer to the question that we are trying to address. The second question that I would like to address is, let me know how the customer really behave. It is very, very interesting to analyze the perceptions, the intentions of the users or the customers, or even the emotions, all right? But the real important point is the behavior, and sometimes we do not behave as we are expecting. So there is a clear link between all those things: intentions, perceptions, emotions, and behavior. But the real point is how the people behave, and try to explain why.
Okay. Thank you. All great comments. One thing I will add to everything is make sure you do everything right, ethical, and assume someone is watching you all the time and you can answer all the questions and provide evidence. And at the end, how your research will contribute to any field, any theory, any practice, and then also society at the end. But also you have a research career and how this piece will support your own research career as well, and also your university's research direction. You have to think holistically. All right, now it's time to talk about technologies and AI. I mean, use of technological applications in research design. Research is not new, but AI has changed many things, all right? So as an author myself, or a PhD student, assume that you're a PhD student, you are new to research, or or you don't have much time, and how you can use AI tools for your, let's start with literature review. Who would like to take how we can use, let's say, AI tools in research design and literature review? Shall I pick one of you? Buhalis, Professor Buhalis? Yes.
So I think when I'm start looking into a topic, I'm start playing with ideas, and sometimes I use AI as a clever person I'm going to talk to, and I'm exploring something. So in my mind, I may have Cihan in my mind, and I say how, and because Cihan is very busy and in a different time zone, I may not wake him up in the middle of the night, but I'll say, Cihan GPT, what do you think about what is the impact of metaverse on tourism? So what's going to happen is that ChatGPT is going to look into a lot of things. It's going to come back with a lot of things that people have said. And then I'll start a dialogue where I'm going to say, yes, but what's going to happen with this and that and the other? And that process sometimes organize my mind to actually to progress my thinking and expand it. It's like speaking to a clever colleague who knows quite a lot of things to take some things forward. And what I end up doing quite often is take some notes on how I can develop the idea and then go and research it properly. So it's basically AI can be your sounding board, and it can help you focus a little bit your ideas and take them forward.
Yeah, can I add something? It's absolutely correct, and that's a wonderful use of AI in writing the literature review or creating the ideas, as Dr. Buhalis said. What I would like to add is that, when you use AI, even if you are just trying to, toss the ideas, etc., once you kind of create the main topic that you would like to study, what I like in some of the AI tools like Google Notebook LM is you can focus your research. You can just find, let's say, a topic, in the example that was given earlier, metaverse and tourism, put them all together, and then ask AI to synthesize, to summarize what matters to you. And when you do that in a, let's say, tool where Google Notebook LM, you're not just going to the space where there's a lot of hallucinations are happening. You actually collect the core articles that matter to that topic that you are working, and you're feeding that into Google Notebook LM. And then not only just the scientific articles, but also the industry articles that are much more up to date and quicker. And then when you create this together, and then you would like to be able to just fine tune your research topic, where you can find, maybe it's too difficult to scan 100 articles that are published in that particular topic and try to find the gaps. It allows you to be able to find the gaps, the variables, all of them together, which not only speeds up the process, but also increase the quality of the research.
All right. Professor Flavian?
Yes. Well, very, very interesting comments. So in relation to this, I first of all establish a clear distinction. As I'm working on AI, so I'm very focusing the attention on the different kind of typologies of AI that we are using. So we can establish quickly the three differences between the three kinds or three typologies of AI that can be used in a very different way. We have the traditional artificial intelligence, that it is a system that performs specific intelligent tasks such as prediction, classification, recognition, optimization. Generative AI, which is the kind of AI that generate new content, because the generative AI is new content based in the previous one, in text, images, audio, video, or even code. The third one is the agentic AI, which is something in which on which everybody is talking nowadays. But to tell you the truth, the systems or the programs that are doing this kind of things nowadays are relatively small. We are starting with this, all right? So in agentic AI, what we can do is to look for goals with relative autonomy. So that means the program itself is going to be planning, choosing actions, using tools, adapting the situation every time, all right? So in summary, we can summarize very quickly and saying that the traditional AI allows us to understand something. The generative AI allow us to create something, and the agentic AI allow us to do something, all right? To have done something, because this kind of programs allows you to interconnect different kind of tools, different kind of systems. So consequently, you can have a lot of things done connecting different kind of programs. So in relation to this, I think we can use traditional AI to, for example, to screen large sets of papers, classifying papers by topic, methods, and context. And the main advantage is that you improve the consistency. Talking about these, for example, the systematic literature reviews, which are a common paper that many people was doing the PhD and was planning to publish. So the interest of publishing literature reviews is decreasing as a result of this, because everybody can do their own literature review thanks to this advantage. We can use the generative AI in order to summarize articles, to extract ideas, to compare theories, findings, to draft some initial ideas. We have to be very careful and do things ethically with these kind of things. And the main advantage it could be to try to reduce the time that we need in order to summarize what the paper says and identify gaps in the literature review, right? And the agentic AI will be the next step. This is still being in progress, and definitely it will allow us to run all the process since the beginning to the end. So we are going to search, we are going to organize, extract, draft basic ideas to try to develop even whole researchers. It is definitely potentially the most efficient option, but it's still, as I said before, in the early stage of the development. But definitely when these new tools are going to be developed, they are going to be really, really useful tools. They are going to generate new challenges for all of us as a result of this.
Right, thank you. Professor Flavian, what is after post-agentic AI?
Well, I still don't know, but the question is that agentic AI could really replace researchers, could really replace editors. Well, we need to try to find what is our role in these kind of situations, because it is narrowing. But in any case, so we need to confirm that everything has been done properly, has been done in ethical point of view, because AI is saying a lot of things. We are receiving a lot of papers generated by AI, and we are rejecting many papers generated by AI. The problem is that we are upgrading the bad reviewers, and this is collapsing. Perhaps we can talk about later on about this, because the review process could be collapsed if we do not take measures in the medium term.
Okay. Based on all our reading and your comments, we often think generative AI or agentic AI are incredibly smart tools, and they are, they always give us the best answers. We can often trust them. So what are, in terms of, data, in terms of topic generation, research questions generation, summarizing literature, we tend to trust AI, but I have some concerns about relying on AI and literature reviews, research questions. Do you want to make any comments about those concerns? Maybe who would like to take this question?
I'll take this. Look,
yes.
I answer this question quite often in industry conference, and the way I always answer is that, look, for the time being, when people are talking about AI, they primarily talk about ChatGPT or similar. And what happens there is that this is a fairly recent kind of development that is based on the data that has got so far. So it's like asking a 3-year-old kid to get answers. And then 2 years later, this kid will be 5 years old. 5 years later, will be 10 years old. The only difference, and obviously the amount of explanation, the comprehension, the ability is increasing radically. What is the difference with AI is that machine learning is learning so fast that what was a 2-year-old kid 3 days later is a 5-year-old kid, and a few days later is a 10-year-old kid. So the amount of and the more people are using these tools, the more the tools are learning from this experience, and therefore the growth in understanding in cognitive ability is exponential. So what's happening is that these tools will become much better and much faster than anything we've seen before. But of course, because we're talking about publications, we are not looking into those papers, those tools, writing the papers and doing the research. Otherwise, there's no point of us getting a salary, right? There's no point of us being employed. It's really about using the tools in a clever way to actually understand what is in a very high speed, what is out there, what is the knowledge that we have so far, and what is the contribution that we should make. So instead of going to the library for awfully lot of time, I remember when I started my academic career, you'll go in the library searching for information for far too long. And then you'll spend quite a lot of time reading this information and learning from this information. I think what the tools are giving us is they're giving us speed in actually identifying the right information and engage with this information in depth.
Okay. Professor Cobanoglu, Professor Flavian, do you want to add anything here?
Yeah, I think what I can add to, AI has created a system where people blindly trust, right? So we know all the editors in this panel probably can tell us that how many times you have actually received reviewers' comments, or even the authors is actually clearly using AI. And the sad part is that once they use, they don't even verify, like this blind trust and going there. So that's really dangerous. I have seen this several times with my journal. And for that reason, I think what is really important for all of us, we are editors of different journals, but we are also educators, is the AI literacy building, not only for us, just like Professor Buhalis was saying that the kid is, aging 5 ages every day. For that reason, it's even, mind-boggling to be able to see what different tools are coming. So this AI literacy is becoming, for us, for our authors, for our students, is something ongoing that you have to keep up all the time. For that reason, I think we need to really be careful about that and use it as a tool, not replacement of ourselves. Then the results can be really critically bad.
Thank you. Great comments. What I want to say, based on my experience as an author, as an editor, and also reviewer, we can detect AI writing, but not always. And then when you rely on AI to write your literature review, it's not always accurate. You have to verify. It provides sometimes inaccurate references. And then also some references, they never exist, but they are so real, including with the page numbers, DOs, and everything. You have to go and check everything and make sure you read the original references, articles by yourself. Never rely on AI-generated literature reviews or research questions and everything. It's not replacing humans. It's just helping you summarize your thoughts, finding references, and then coming up with a template with structure. But it will never, hopefully, it should not replace human beings. It should be an assistance. All right. Now let's move to data, let's say research design, especially collecting empirical data, and then data generation, data analysis. How can we use AI tools in our methodologies, in our method sections, right? Who would like to, maybe Professor Flavian?
Yeah, well, definitely. Thank you. So definitely there is a lot of possibilities for data collections. So for example, we can automatically extract data from online reviews, booking sites, forums. There is many different tools. And in fact, I used to give a talk talking about these, right? Scrapping Bee with Harvey and so on. Social media, it's a very interesting source of information in order to identify the public sentiment, the emerging trends, what is happening nowadays in a specific context. And there is a lot of tools that can be applied. In addition to this, so we can try to interview participants in a survey. There is a lot of tools that we can try to analyze or we can use in order to have this work done. One of them is Amazon Mechanical Turk, right? this tool is very, very fast. However, and it is very, very cheap. So you can put the survey in the tool, and the people who is willing to give an answer to these kind of things is giving you a lot of information, and it is very, very fast. However, I have to say that Amazon mechanical tool, which is not very good in terms of identify people who is not doing properly things, right? So the research controls that they are applying are relatively poor. So there are other tools such as Think, Positively, and even Prolific. We used to use Prolific, and sometimes you can have a lot of information very, very fast. Well, definitely the artificial intelligence and the collection methods in order to get this is changing everything. So we can try to develop a lot of studies very, very quickly, applying all these kind of tools. Definitely, these tools are being applied by hotels, by different tourism companies in order to try to get information about the feedback of the customers, or even, for example, applying chatbots in order to interact with the users, but having information. So because the chatbot can give you an answer, but after you give a question or you ask something, they can interact asking you for something that, for example, people of the hotels are interested in knowing. So definitely it's changing the way in which collect data from the tourist context.
Okay.
I can
Professor
just add
Buhalis.
Oh, okay.
Cihan,
No,
you are next.
let get Cihan next.
Yeah, I'll just give you an example, actually, what I've done recently. I publish research that are using, that has to use conjoint analysis. And we used to use a software that was designed for this, Question Pro, and that costed $3,000 to our university for annual license. So I recently use vibe coding, and I'm not a coder, I'm not a technical person, vibe coding to be able to create this tool by myself without a single line of coding writing, and it works even better than the tool that we used to pay $3,000. So to be able to collect conjoint analysis where you give people pairs of choices and you ask them to choose, and that's very powerful. That's number one. Also, the other use what I see is these translations. Always we ask if when the survey is translated into another language, back translate to make sure that it's all good. Now AI can do this in multiple languages. Now you can create a survey instrument that can display the same survey questions in hundreds of languages for that matter, so that you now can expand your data collection beyond what you normally or in your comfort zone in terms of language. And of course, collecting voices, images to be able to create from those sentiment analysis and trend analysis is the other wonderful great tools of AI, just to give you a few examples.
Thank you. Professor Buhalis.
I think I'm covered. I think there are a lot of very interesting ideas that we hear here, but there'll be other tools on AI that they'll analyze data on big scale. And what really excites me is the analysis of data in real time. So data that are coming in from big data that are coming in from different things, like, I don't know, cameras, how many people are going in Algarve beach, or how many people are passing by a particular place in Sindra or wherever, to go to a destination. And what I'm really interested about, and I haven't done it yet, but I'd like to explore that, is how can we use AI to actually analyze real data in real time and support decision making. Things like the frequency of trains, the traffic lights, and whether the traffic lights should actually be green, and so they'll allow the traffic to go through, because they analyze in real time what the impact of the length of the red traffic light is going to be. So I'm really interested on experimenting some of these things and make sure that we can see how we can use these new technologies.
Good. Thank you for your comments. I think what we know, we can use Gen AI, these tools in our methods, in terms of our research questions, in terms of survey checking, in terms of interview questions, refining them, and then data analysis and big data collecting from websites and then asking it for sentiment analysis or trends and so forth. But I have a question. These are all helpful. How do you feel about uploading your findings, interviews, observations, like confidential information, of course, you're collecting from your participants and uploading it to AI?
You cannot do this. No, you cannot do this.
Yes,
That you cannot do.
That's the question I want to ask, because some of our researchers, rather than using NVivo and other softwares, they are primarily uploading their data and using it and analyzing it. And I want to hear your comments on this, Any concerns in methodology, including data analysis?
I think you've heard mine already, and I guess that researchers need to do the ethics process in their own university, and one of the things is confidentiality of their sample and their responses. And I guess immediately when you feed an LLM with this kind of information, you immediately break your ethics code. So that's a no-no.
So we need to emphasize that we are not supposed to upload our observation notes, interviews, and all other empirical data.
No.
Yes,
At
least we need. Yes.
Can I say?
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. I'll tell you, as long as you get the consent from the people that you collect the data, you can do so if they give you the consent. The other thing that I want to add in this particular topic, which is very useful, you can use AI to be able to analyze your data by yourself, even if you don't know, let's say, a particular software. A student came into my office the other day, was talking about one particular software, Smart PLS, didn't know how to do it. AI helped step by step very nicely to be able to do these things. With 2 screens, you can easily do that. The things that you didn't know before, or you had to watch hours of, let's say, videos, tutorials, etc. Now you can use it in that way as well. But the consent, I think, is the key. That's what also Professor Buhalis was referring. When you tell people that you're not going to share this data, then of course you should not share. But if you are making this, for that reason, the consent forms that we are going to provide to our survey takers, just like in this panel, one of the attendees actually sent us a survey to fill out, right? I just see it in a second ago. So as long as the consent forms are going to change. Maybe you will be able to, the power of AI is very good here in terms of analyzing large data sets like the text, etc. So you need to be able to tell how you are going to utilize that data from the people that you collect and disclose that to the journals that you're submitting.
Dr. Cobanoglu, based on my experience, when we submit our IRB ethics approval, we only provide the consent form, and current consent forms do not refer to those. You will be uploading a summary of your findings or interviews to any Gen AI platform without any confidential information. We are not there yet. This may be a new area for consideration.
This is why we need the revision in those things. But we all know that people do it anyway, right? So for that reason, I think instead of just hiding it, we need to update our consent forms and the way that we do research so that it becomes transparent and fair.
Okay. Good.
Can I say something in relation to this? Yes. Well, I think it is interesting to see that, for example, the the stronger models of OpenAI or cloud. So they are offering information, or they are offering several advantages. So the models are clever, are newer, and so on. But also they say that the privacy is highest. So that means that the normal models are not so private as we were expecting to see, right? This has been happening when the recently new models launched by Chinese companies were developed. All the people thought about the problems of privacy and these kind of things, right? Definitely the privacy of the data is involved in any kind of model, independently on the amount of money that you are paying for, and independently of the company which is developing the model. In any case, there is an interesting alternative, is that you can run little models in local. So this is a possibility. Some of the large language models have smallest version that you can run on local. So my suggestion is that if you have the knowledge, do you think your information is private? My suggestion is that you apply this in local. But let me tell you something that it was very funny. And it was, well, funny. I will not say that it is funny. Somebody who has been uploading a patent, information of a patent in these kind of models, some weeks later, other people patented the same information, all right? So you never know that if the information that you are uploading is being managed in a private way or not. All right. So you have to be very careful what you upload. You need to know that this information is not always private. So it's your responsibility, not what you are doing and checking everything, but also if you load this information, you can have problems like the anecdote that I have been highlighted before. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For the sake of time, these are all very important, great discussions, and I want to give some opportunities to our attendees to ask questions. Before we finish, last words in terms of use of AI in research, design, and publications. Maybe, excuse me, can you mute your microphone, please? Maybe Buhalis, Professor Buhalis, you give us two advice, do and don't, and then Professor Cobanoglu and Professor Flavian, you follow. Okay.
I think there are two things that you can use using AI. One is to have a conversation with AI to focus your research idea and actually use it as a critical friend to develop the focus of your research and get very quickly to identify the knowledge that exists already. So that's the background, quick reference to support your literature review. Of course, the literature review you do yourself, and of course you verify all the articles by reading them yourself. That is the input in there, and then on the output, you don't use AI to analyze, or you don't use AI to write, but you can use AI to improve linguistically a paper in the same way that you can use a professional editor that improves the language. I think that is the two things that people can use AI productively and ethically. And I'll stop here.
Thank you. Professor Cobanoglu.
Yeah, so I agree. And then maybe just add that as editors and researchers, we all are here. Our role is not just to adopt AI, but to protect the integrity of knowledge in the AI-driven world. So, in my opinion, AI will not ruin research. The misuse of AI will. For that reason, an extra attention on how you use AI and the transparency. So, we all know now that there is no question, no longer a question, whether to use AI in research. It's whether we can use it without compromising rigor, originality, and trust. Those are the final points that I would like to make, not just for hospitality, tourism journals, but for any research out there.
Okay, thank you. Professor Flavian.
Yes, definitely. My two suggestions is that nowadays are being developed a lot of tools which are applicating or using these kind of LM models, large language models, to different activities. So there is thousands of tools such as WASP-Aware, Elicit, Consensus, Aside, Research Rabbit, many of them with many different objectives. So you can use it, but always ethically. The suggestions that I also would like to say is that you have to check everything, because the AI is hallucinating. And one of the main research lines in which we are working nowadays is how people react in front of hallucinations, when the system gives information that it is not correct and has not been rechecked by the service provider in the tourism activities, in the hotel, in the restaurant, or whatever. All right. So you need to check everything as a researcher in order to confirm that everything that you are putting in your paper is correct. The AI is just a tool. All right. Don't put the direct results. So the responsible of what is written there is you. So please, you have to do the last activity, which is checking that everything is correct.
Thank you. A couple of comments from my side, just to support my colleagues' comments. We will all use AI one way or another. The question is whether we will use it in a tactical, simple way, all right, or we will use it strategically to advance our knowledge and support us and have probes that to see the next level. Okay, that's one thing. Second is we will use AI ethically or unintentionally. Sometimes we can make mistakes. One example is someone developed a scenario and used AI, and then later realized that same scenario with minor revisions, minor modifications appeared in another journal, because either both authors use AI to generate, or at least the person I talked to used AI and AI maybe replicated a scenario already published. So you have to be, you think you are ethical, you haven't done anything wrong, but AI can give you something is not reference, and then you may be in trouble later. So you may have a paper, with a major issue. So let's be strategic, let's be transparent, let's be ethical, and let's think about how we can ethically and professionally and strategically use AI in research design and publications. There is one thing we didn't mention. Attendees, please post your questions and we will, ask our panelists for their answers. And we often see our reviewers often are uploading articles that we send them to review, and they use AI to generate reviews on the papers someone else submitted. This is absolutely no. You are uploading a content provided by someone else, and it's now in the pool that you uploaded and then you share with the whole world. So that's why two things: you are uploading something copyrighted to a platform. Number two, you are uploading a review generated by AI, which may not be accurate. That's also another thing. And then also you are negatively affecting the field because of your review. That paper may be accepted, or because of your review, that good paper may be rejected as well. Spend some time, read the paper. Do not rely on AI-generated reviews. Okay, I stop here. There is one question here I would like to clarify something about using AI for improving writing. Experts often recommend using AI tools to enhance linguistic quality, but I find this confusing. For example, if I write a sentence by myself and only use AI to improve the structure or grammar, tools like Turnitin may still flag it as AI-generated content. This feels unfair. The original idea is writing and are mine. Please explain what considered acceptable use of AI for language improvement in academic work. I can answer this. Every publisher, before you publish an article, submit an article, look at what that publisher's, that journal's AI policy. Emerald, for example, allow AI use for writing, improving grammar and flow. And you acknowledge that if you check the websites for Professor Buhalis' journal, for Professor Cobanoglu's journals, or my journals, there is a statement that you can acknowledge. For this paper, we use AI for proofreading and improving the flow. All the responsibilities are ours, and we acknowledge this. You can mention even the software's name. And the softwares right now, like Turnitin and other softwares, Identicate is similar by the same company. They think they are detecting AI-generated content. They are maybe 50, 60, 70% accurate. Recently, Emerald introduced a function when authors submit an article. Those articles are screened by Emerald's this new function, and they look at those tortured sentences, tortured phrases. For example, you say one sentence in normal language, and then AI rephrases it. AI gives a synonym for it, but it's not always accurate, right? I can't remember an example. For example, in-depth learning, for example, in-depth discussions. Sometimes AI puts deep discussions, okay? And then there are articles about, after this session, Google tortured phrases, and where AI is used to write those areas. Tortured phrases, and there are maybe 50 to 100. And then especially some of us are not native speakers. The way we write, often these Turnitin and Identicate sometimes recognizes as AI generated. Also, I hear that articles published about 10, 20 years ago, when you run those and they come up like AI generated. Okay, as long as you are ethical, I think you will be fine. I stop here. Maybe our panelists would like to share some comments.
Can I just add one thing to this person who asked the question? Great question. I use AI, and I'm not my mother tongue is not English. So one of the prompts that I use, which works all the time, is this: edit this text, whatever that I write, with my English, edit this text for language quality, grammar, style, readability only. Do not introduce new ideas, examples, or citations. So I just do that. I use just like an English teacher kind of a thing, or my professor in the old days, may God bless him, Pat Morio. When I used to give him the drafts, he would just go with red pen and correct them. So if you use that. And the other advice that I will give to this person, be transparent, disclose what you do in there. This is how I use it. This is what I did. And I think if you do these things, you'll be safe.
Okay. There is one interesting article. Do you think there will be an AI articles written by AI and maybe journal for that? Okay. And then will this be allowed to be published if it has real value? Yes, our panelist.
No, definitely.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, please, you do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So definitely, No, so the artificial intelligence is just a tool. So it's a very, very clever tool, but it is not an author, all right? I have a very good friend, which is Stanislav Ivanov. We work together in AI, and he is always highlighting this, all right? So AI is not an author, so it's just a simple tool. So there is no possibilities of including the AI as an author. So it's just something that you include in that you have been having the support of somebody who has been funding your research using the AI is exactly the same. So it has not sense to develop a journal to do that, in my view.
Okay. We don't know yet. Maybe at one point, Gen AI, what is that? Agentic AI, maybe writing articles, maybe reviewed by AI, maybe published by AI journals. We will see. We don't have a crystal ball to predict the future. And we have 5 different questions. My God, someone, okay.
Dr. Fevzi, just one quick thing. You know,
Yes.
Emerald, our publisher, does not allow AI to be an author, but if people are interested, there is actually a journal. It's called Journal of AI Generated Papers, where even the reviewer number 3 is an AI. So if you're interested, just check it out.
Okay, I'm sure at one point there will be AI authors, AI journals. We'll see. We have, I think, several questions.
I would like to add something in relation to this.
Yes.
And it's very, very clear idea. People is taking decisions and tools are helping to these decisions. So this is the distinction between AI and persons.
Yes. We have one question, I think Chi Lu. It's a long question, but it's asking, I would appreciate your advice on how to properly and transparently report such use in a manuscript in line with academic standards and journal expectations, like how to use AI. I think we briefly explained it. Transparency, be specific, explain everything. Also in your letter to the editor, you can acknowledge what you did. At least you have proof. But when working with other authors, this is my recommendation. Let's say you have a PhD student, he is or she's working on a paper, and she's not telling you how she wrote the paper. Cross-check, make sure, look at the references, and make sure that your co-authors are also ethical. You may be ethical, but your co-authors may be fully using AI. That's also your responsibility. When you get into trouble, hope not, later, you cannot say, oh, I haven't done that part, because you are responsible for the whole paper. All right.
And also the retractions,
for the sake of time,
Fevzi, just 1 second. The thing that people need to be aware is retractions will not happen next year. It can happen 10 years later, and they're catastrophic. So you need to be ethical, and you need to be operating within the principles throughout, because the consequences will come farther down the line, and the consequences are quite significant.
Thank you very much. There is one, like 4 or 5 questions. Do you believe AI agents may eventually replace some of the traditional roles currently performed by journal editors? If so, what will be the main risk and implications for academic quality and editorial judgment? Yes, anyone would like to answer this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not just AI agents, but there's an AI agent network, right? There's multiple right now. As you know, the AI agents are talking to each other. They even create a language between themselves. So it's not a question, but how we're gonna. At the end of the day, whenever there is AI, at the end of the day, there must be human. There must be, because AI does not generate new ideas. It only looks at back what has been done for innovation, for future, taking it to the next level. We always will need human, period. How we're going to control, make that system is still, of course, we will see together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good, thank
definitely.
you. Yes, Carlos.
Definitely, I think there will be a lot of activities that can be conducted by artificial intelligence, and I am constantly insisting to Wiley in relation to this, because I think Wiley is one of the best publishers with the managing manuscript, and definitely I have the impression that the editors needs to have the possibility of using the AI. So 80% of the manuscripts are flagged that you have to be careful because they have been using the AI. Why I cannot use it as an editor? Definitely, there is a lot of things. And also, I have been making a lot of comments in another journal of Elsevier. The people from Elsevier told me that, for example, the AI is going to be used in an internal model of Elsevier in order to try to make the role of associate editor, to try to synthesize the information given by the reviewers and translating in a very, very more clear way to the authors. So as a consequence, definitely, I think there is a long way to go also from the side of editors. Sometimes I'm thinking that perhaps the first review is going to be done by an AI tool, an internal AI tool. I see we will see that in 3, 4, 5, or perhaps 2 years' time.
Just to add, Carlos, Emerald introduced this tool, but only checking if an article was generated by AI, if there are any tortured phrases they are trying to detect. I think it will get only stronger and stronger. We have 3 more questions. I will be fast, maybe short answers. Might AI eventually become more powerful in identifying patterns, gaps, theoretical inconsistencies than human reviewers? If that happens, how should you balance between human and machine judgment? I think it's easy. We acknowledge this portion, as Professor Flavian mentioned, this number 1 and number 2 reviewed by AI, or number 1 reviewed by AI, number 2, 3, 4 reviewed by humans, and then we have a judgment. So that's absolutely fine. How do ethics and artificial intelligence relate? Absolutely relate. Ethics at all time you have to follow, and artificial intelligence you have to use it ethically, professionally, and objectively and transparently. That's also critical. And as some of our speakers mentioned, you can publish your article, but they can come and catch you 10 years, 20 years later. So you have to be honest at all time, 100%. Not only you, but all your co-authors. All right, article reviews have been the bottleneck in the publication process. What good use can AI make in this area, reducing response analysis? Yes, that's a problem everywhere. We may use technology at one point, but still we need human judgment. That's why we have associate editors, assistant editors, and then editors-in-chief and reviewers. Hopefully we will try technology to help us. Last question. Oh my God, okay. Okay, we will stop. I think we need to stop very soon. Any last words? Our attendees, you can always approach our speakers. Professor Flavian, any last words before we finish the session?
Yes, human takes decisions and machines just support us.
Okay. Yes, Professor Cobanoglu?
I agree. I mean, AI is here to stay. Instead of fighting, we need to find ways to integrate this in such a nice, ethical, and trustable way.
Okay. Professor Buhalis?
I think do less and do better. So we need to stop playing the numbers game. We need to make a contribution to society, and we need to use AI to make contribution to society, but it needs to be ethical and needs to come from the development of the big ideas that will take us forward.
Thank you very much. I fully agree, and see research as a hobby, as a passion. Be ethical at all time, and try to make a contribution, have an impact in the long term. Think about how your research will help your students, the industry, the field, the society. And AI is a tool. There will be better tools, maybe dominate, maybe will help us greatly. But at the end, how we can make this world a better place and how we can help others, how we can serve. That's our last comment. I want to thank all of you. Professor Buhalis, I think, shared Emerald's policy on AI usage. And you can use also, check other publishers' policies. I want to thank all the attendees as well as our panelists, a very strong panel here. I really enjoyed as well moderating and this session and also listening to our panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Fevzi Okumus, Professor Dimitrios, Professor Carlos, and Professor Cihan. In name of on behalf of the TMCT Executive Board, we would like to thank you and all the attendees. We will see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day, evening.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Now we will share the link for the certificates to all of you.